forgotten wallet became a moment neither man would ever forget. It started with chocolate chip cookies and milk and ended with something priceless. One simple act during the pandemic became a memory for a lifetime. The older gentleman cut right in front of the young man standing in line in the small grocery store during the pandemic. Everyone thought he was being rude. Nobody expected what happened next until the young man spoke. One carton of milk, one package of chocolate chip cookies, one stranger. That's all it took to change both men's day forever. An elderly man reached for his wallet, and his heart sank. The older gentleman's face said it all. I forgot my wallet. But before anyone could react, someone he'd never met stepped in. What happens next still warms my heart. Our title today, Why a Stranger Bought His Cookies. Welcome to Dream Builders Diaries, building dreams one story at a time, and I'm Jeannie Craft. Here at Dream Builders Diaries, we dive deep into the personal stories of entrepreneurs, artists, innovators, and everyday visionaries just like you. We believe that every dream starts with a story worth telling, and by sharing these stories, we aim to empower you to create your own dream and the story behind it. But before we get started, grab a paper and a pencil if you don't already have one. Inspiration, ideas, and dreams come and go very quickly. Jot yours down. Don't let yours get away. During the height of the pandemic, a stranger cut in line at the grocery store. Everyone started to judge him. Then they needed to discover why the young man he stepped in front of wasn't angry or rude. Back a few years ago, about 7 or more to be sure, we were all living the nightmare of the COVID-19 pandemic. Cities were shut down, people wore masks everywhere, and yet no one really knew at the time what the results of the pandemic would bring. Somehow we all got used to standing 6 feet away from each other in line, and we hardly even spoke to one another. There were weeks when adults only shifted their eyes back and forth, not being able to share what was most important to share, a simple smile. This story was sent to me during the pandemic. It was appropriate to share again because of what it stands for. It stands for the humanity that was lost during that time. Waiting in line to pay for groceries while maintaining a 6-foot distance wasn't easy. This man cut in line in front of us. There were quite a few of us in line, and we were all basically strung throughout the small grocery store because we all had found our bright orange X to stand on as we waited for the next customer in front of us to move up. This older gentleman was oblivious to the new social norm. The orange X's had imposed upon most of us, but they were not imposed upon him. He didn't appear to notice what he had done. He didn't seem to notice all of us in line holding baskets that were way too heavy, laden with milk and juice. Those who had fewer items had it much easier. No one was using a grocery cart. Those had to be wiped down and sanitized after every single customer. Whose awful job was that? I only had seen a half-interested teen attempt to wipe the top of a couple of carts, and that was a few weeks ago. Anyway, the person next in line, the first one he skipped, didn't say anything. He just maintained the proper distance by not moving into the space immediately after it became available. He glanced up briefly from his phone and then glanced back, his grocery basket making parallel lines on his forearm. The clerk barely spoke. The only thing most of us could make out from him was the total due for each customer. As the clerk put his items into a plastic sack, he indicated it was time for the man to produce some type of payment. When it was time for the man to pay, he reached into his back pocket and pulled out a small notepad. He looked confused. He reached again, and with the same result. It was obvious he had forgotten his wallet. His face said it all. He looked a bit disappointed and embarrassed. He finally looked up to the young man he had stepped in front of in the line. The look of confusion was slowly becoming a look of panic. The young man he had skipped and stepped in front of had already been aware of what was happening. He stepped to the man's elbow and told the cashier that he would take care of the older man's groceries. Now, granted, the groceries only consisted of milk and chocolate chip cookies. The clerk placed the bag in the man's trembling hands and looked into his eyes, but he said nothing. The older gentleman was more than grateful. His watery eyes filled with tears. He kindly thanked them, and off the man went. The cashier turned to the customer who already had 2 items on his bill upon the arrival to the register, and he asked, "He cut you off and you paid for his groceries? Why?" He hesitated before he started scanning the items on the bill, populated just a few minutes before by the young man. The younger man looked up and calmly replied with a smile behind his mask, "I hope that if one day my dad forgets his wallet, someone will step up and buy his milk and cookies." It was at that moment that we all knew what a great blessing we had witnessed and what had occurred. Paying it forward is not hard to do. We just don't see it every day. Sometimes we must wait years to see it again. On the other hand, remembering events from just over 7 years ago will remind you of the humanity that still exists. With all the negativity going on in the world, I thought it would be nice to share this moment. A little kindness goes a long way. Why not pay it forward? People rolled their eyes until they realized why he was cutting off the line. He was simply unaware of what was going on around him. At first, he looked rude. Then everything changed. So, what is your biggest takeaway from our diary today, and how does this diary relate to how you define your dream? Why this diary? Because this diary demonstrates the magic and the beauty of how sharing a diary that happened even just a short time ago, we can all relate to, and it can remind us, why not pay it forward? And also, I share this diary because this powerful diary also celebrates the virtues of how a little kindness goes a long way. With all the negativity, I thought it would be nice, yes, to share this moment. Dreamers, believe in yourselves. Be passionate, work smart, and know your why, and apply what you learn each day. Enjoy life and always, always be kind. Special thanks to those of you who listen to Dream Builders Diaries regularly. I am grateful to you. The honor to spend time with you is all mine. Check out the other diaries in my Dream Gather playlist. If you don't have it yet, get your 90-Day Dream Builders Diary by Jeannie Craft on Amazon. The link is in the description. Like and share this diary and subscribe for more. Contact us to share your story. Thank you. And until next time, building dreams one story at a time.